I'm gonna. And we're live. Hey, I'm Hine Pack, and it's good to have you back. And I've got a guest today, Carlo of AudioThing. And Carlo, you're in Dublin, right?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Wonderful. So, yeah, we made a plugin together called Booger. This is our 10th plugin, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And our second... not too many. There's never too many. No. That's our second plugin together, and it's our second instrument. Because the first one was Noises, which was focused on textures. And our second one now is Booger, which is focused on the tiniest of sounds, micro sounds. And yeah, Booger has been out for 1 week. And in the comments, because the comment crew is pretty strong always on my channel, we put a little contest. And if you figured out how many sweaters I was wearing in the video, you would get a copy of the Hine Pack, which is all of these 10 plugins, which is a big pack and continues. It has so many fun plugins. Our first one, wires, the Soviet wire recorder we made. The second was motors. I'm trying to go through it by head. Okay, so let's see if I can do it. So we've got wires, the wire recorder, lo-fi echo, basically. Yeah. Then we've got motors based on a tool that was used by the BBC, the Crystal Palace, which is a side-chaining, mashing up thing. Very beautiful. Then it's dials already. Was it dials already after that?
Let me check. My memory is really bad.
No. Let's try to do it from memory. Dials is a test equipment channel strip. I think that was number 3. Then we've got lines. Lines is
Gong amp first, I think.
Gong amp, of course. Gong amp. I've been using Gong amp so much. I'm working on a new record and I'm using Gong amp all the time because I use the real Gong amp in my studio. I have that set up, but it sounds different. Like some things it sounds different. So depending on what signal you send in, it has a different texture to when you drive the plugin differently. So both are absolutely like you can put them in the same track, but they do different things slightly at different levels and to different signals. So it's wonderful to combine them actually. So both have like a place. So Gong amp, then dials. Dials was 4th then, right?
I think so.
Then we've got lines, the telecommunications, noises.
Yes.
Moon echo. Why does it do? Okay, now it does this thing when I'm counting. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Moon echo.
Yeah. Then
and arguments.
Yes.
Things voice.
Oh, voice. Yes.
Things voice. And yeah. And now Booger. So that's the whole Hine Pack. That's all of these plugins. So and if you watch the whole video, you would have to watch the whole video, even the last bit I added at the very end, to get all the sweaters correct. And that's something we're gonna draw in a bit. So we're just gonna chat a bit about making the plugin and answer all of your questions also. And then we're gonna do the draw right at the end. Let me know, anybody entered the contest? Make a shout out there. Would be interesting to hear how many of you made it to the drawing. We just announced it today. It was really spontaneous, right? I didn't even plan, to be honest, I didn't even actually plan the contest. I was just like filming the video over such a long time that I was wearing different sweaters. And usually I try to use the sweaters for continuity. So I've got like one sweater when the video even gets longer, but then I was like, no, I can't. This is like there, wear this, there, wear this, there, wear this. And then I just came with like a bunch of sweaters, not all of them, and made a joke out of changing them at every cut. But it wasn't planned. I just said afterwards the idea, oh, maybe we can do something for the comment gang.
Yeah, I think we did something. I don't remember exactly what we did for the other giveaway that we did years ago. But I think it was something fun anyway. Like we should do that more often. Like.
Yeah, it's also nice, especially for me to reward the people that do that comment and come to the live streams. And like, if you look into people that I'm personally like, I always go into the comments on YouTube videos and check what people write. I find that very informative. It's probably like same as on Reddit, where you see an article linked and the first thing you do is check like the first 3 comments before you know, oh, this article is worth reading or not. So kind of like that. Yeah. So do you remember like how Booger came about?
Actually, yes. Because we were discussing, I think it was at the time when we were making noises, something similar. We're discussing about doing the word generator or something similar on that side, like a pulse generator, similar thing. And as usual, we start with a simple idea. Okay, let's make it something simple and easy to use. And then we add stuff and it becomes something completely different from the original idea.
I think we had like, for me, there's 3 origin stories and they all convene. So the first one is, I remember, come on, why is it? I need to turn these off. I don't know where. I don't know if it's iOS doing that or if it's the streaming platform. I've got no idea. But yeah, so it's always a party here. No, I remember making you a drawing with the first, like really early on, like right after Wires. I made a drawing with like using just the sequencer part to ping another unit. I think this could be an instrument where you can ping something. That would be cool. But it was already like very complex at the time. We had just made Wires and we're doing more effects, like not instruments so much. That was back in 2020. And then we did a little sequencer in lines.
Yes.
You know? And you said
lines was really, really nice.
Yeah, and then people said, "Oh, can we have just this little sequencer?" And you said, "Hey, Stefan, can we just make this?" And I was like, yes, of course, but..." And then we thought about how to actually make it interesting. And I think one of the interesting things was for me that the original, it just has 3 forms of clicks. One is so short that you can't even, that's really microscopic, it doesn't even register mostly. And then there's the normal, and then there is the inversion of that. That's all. So we're early on starting to think about wavetables. I remember that.
Yes.
So
the idea was something to do like a kind of like a physical model of just the pulse of the word generator, I think. And then I think the idea of having a wavetable was probably easier to implement other ideas quickly. And then I think we anticipated, even like with noises, with the experience we had with noises, like, okay, so probably people want to load their own samples and expand the sonic possibilities of the plugin. So yeah, I think wavetable came pretty early as an idea.
Yeah, exactly. And then we started sampling, and I remember the first samples I made, that was when I was in SMEM, the Swiss Synthesizer Museum. And that's why my first bangs, I think I made, were called Berlin. And that wasn't because I was in Berlin. That was because there was a tiny little pulse generator that sounded completely freaky, because it's such different pulses that all hit very differently, that I got like 16 samples of that. So that's from... The pulse generator is in the Hine lab. So if you go to Switzerland, to Fribourg, then to SMEM, you can see the original little Berlin-made impulse generator that I used to make the samples. And then we worked on from demo to demo to demo. And for this time, we had one luxury that we didn't have before. I came over, right?
Yes.
So
amazing.
That was such a game changer, in terms of working together.
Yeah, I mean, we had the same experience when I came the first time for Superboot. It was like 3 years ago, I think.
Yes.
And we worked together for the first time in the same room. And it was like a game changer. Like you can really bounce ideas so much like quicker, and then it's much better. Like that's so much for the remote working, as we always say. But working together in the same room is like another level, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And there I started to realize, I went back to the stuff that I learned back in university, when I think one of my oral thesis was on oral exams that was on granular synthesis, and then I went read a lot of Curtis Rhodes back at that time, and I was thinking about microsounds actually a lot, and like not just using like that are things that are close, like pulse generators, but different things. And while you were coding, I started to cut up like from my whole library of sounds that I have, from prepared piano stuff, tape feedback stuff, just like a few cycles. And it was so amazing to just, here, try this, because everything sounded, you could still hear somewhat the source of the signal, but it sounded very different. And then pitching it wildly around, that yields such fun, different results, right?
Yeah, even acoustic materials, you can definitely tell it's acoustic, but it's so short that it's still usable as a pulse. So it's odd because you kind of get the idea, the feeling of something acoustic, but then you can use it like any pulse basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's the process, especially when you add like I oftentimes added percussive envelopes, so like sharp attack and then quick fall off, so anything became acoustic. But I have to say, one of my favorite bangs is Analog Bleeps. I think Analog Bleeps, the first one that opens up in the first preset, that was from your Mini Moog.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And that's such a beautiful transient, and I try to make it so that every it goes up, so there's something harmonically going on.
But
and the curating.
Another nice thing that we kind of discovered with the crossfade between all the samples, like you can put all the samples you want, but then you get new sounds if you get the crossfade in between, right? So it's every time you turn it, it's a new, could be a new sound basically.
Yeah, and especially then when you pitch it around and it starts to get all glitchy and like, and I was so like that was super joyous. Like it also felt cool to work like that. I sitting on the couch, and you were like all the little things that we decided would be cool. Yeah. And I mean, there's been so much good community feedback, and everyone in the chat, if you've got ideas that you would like to see in Booger, or let us know here, write us. I think we'll collect and we'll continue to update, and I think we've got an update coming already soon, right? Tomorrow maybe?
Yes, I'm waiting for Apple as usual to
okay.
It's the desktop version already has a beta version in the user area. You can download it already, but it's gonna be either tomorrow or day after tomorrow, something like that. So we should be pretty soon.
Cool. That's mostly bug fixes, but we're also adding a new artist preset pack. Yes. So by London Rain, which makes me really happy, because London Rain I met at a Patreon meetup. He was one of my Patreons. And then we talked a lot about like how to make a career and stuff like that. And now he's a very successful musician, does wonderful music, and also has a very well working Patreon and designs his own instruments. So that he is there and made this wonderful, like, it's a very cool pack. He used the octave filter a lot to make like these very cool, very minimal hip-hop style little rhythm loops. It's completely different to what I did and completely different to what our other featured artist, Cosmos, did. But that made me so happy that this instrument that we made, can sound so different like when somebody else approaches it. Even though it seems, it's just a sequencer with a few clicks and cuts, but depending on who uses it, it becomes a very personal tool.
I've seen many videos of actually Booger in action, and every time it's like, okay, you can do that as well. like of course it can be used in different ways, but every time it's like a surprise, like, wow, that's something I didn't think, so yeah, it can be very personal, and that's the beauty of it, I suppose.
I already see a bunch of like ideas in the question. Let's just see, what do we have here? We have If I could request a feature, can you make the random button to be available for the DAW to automate? How would you automate the random? Which
which random button? That's the question, because we have loads of random buttons.
How many are there? There's like four in the sequencer. Then there's one for the pulse and one for the noise and one overall random.
So the randoms that you can assign to the crossfade and to the clock, they can be automated by the DAW very easily. They are parameters, so you can do that. If you're thinking of the random cycle, it's also can be also automated. And but if you are thinking about the random for the preset, the general randomizer button, I don't know if that's possible, to be honest. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 random buttons, so it's quite a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So here's the Void Inclusive. Hello, nice to see you. I love Booger. Sometimes I found it hard to get all the volume I need out of Booger when playing it with other instruments. Was wondering if a master volume knob with lots of gain would be possible. I think that might be a thing that I noticed when you use the effects at the end. Like if you use the what's it called, the octave filter. Some sounds don't have much volume, right, in that frequency, where you are just like, because you just have a tiny frequency, and then you want more volume. I think that might be a thing. How hard is changing, how hard is adding gain to the master out without messing up previous projects?
So the thing is, like, we have a master volume, but if that's not enough, what I did with other instruments, I added an option to have like a plus 3 dB, 6 dB, 12 dB, whatever. But that's more like a global thing. So that's the only way to not mess with presets and stuff. Like you decide your own master level, like gain, extra gain, and that's it. You know.
That would be something for the Burger menu, like the little back.
Yes.
Or where would you put that?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, maybe we can put that on the list. I mean, you can always use a utility, gain something, but if it's like in there and you can just boost it with one, I think maybe put it on the list. Cool.
Yes.
That was something I was wondering. Cool. Is there a way to have MIDI out of the sequencer from Hugo SMP? Amazing plugin. Thank you. MIDI.
Well, we can do that, but I'm not super familiar with how that worked with all the DAW. So I did some experiments, and some DAWs were working well enough, and others were like messing everything up. So we decided, I decided to just exclude the MIDI out for now. But that's definitely something that can be done in the future if we figure out a way to not mess with everything else.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Another one for the list then. I love that. Okay.
Yes.
Desktop version, it exists. It's already, like, desktop version is there. It's released on iOS and on PC, Linux, Mac, and
if
so there's a desktop version already.
If they mean like a standalone, we might add a standalone version to desktop as well, but we felt not necessary. But it's something.
Usually not, no. Standalone for desktop. Okay.
Yeah, I have some of the latest synthesizers that we made that have a standalone version on desktop. It's like 99% of the time you use it in a DAW anyway. So.
Okay, then here is Signal Hunter 79. Effect send level for each the sample. Oh, and noise channel would be cool. So you would split them.
Okay.
Oh, that's complex. That becomes.
But also, yeah, I think one thing we should talk about is also how much time we spent on the GUI.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably this was the most complex. Even though it looks simple enough, we spent a lot of time on it to make it look, simple. It's quite hard. So adding more controls can always be, not as easy as it sounds.
Especially because like this is the, where is it? It's here with like Booger, come on the phone. Calling up Booger, where are you? Here. I mean, in the end, like it has to work on something as small as this, and like it's nice that we have the handles here to slide around, but it has to work on this too. And if we add too much like this, like another cent, it becomes like really crammy to use. So that would be one situation where I would say open 2 instances, so, and use one for one just for the noise and effect it like you will, and use another. So I think that would be the easiest workaround, trying to really avoid like overfilling the GUI is so important, I think. So I don't see like a visual way to do it. We can think on it, but right now I would say use 2. Sorry, at the moment. Any chance we'll see some more effects boxes available? Would love to see a mini blindfold EQ as an effects box, because I always use that right after Booger and can't use plugins in series with my looper. Okay, that's something like if you put more effects, you mean like exchange the effects down there?
So I thought about this for also for the other instruments that I have, but I think it can be just too complicated. But the only way, instead of adding more slots, it's just having perhaps the ability to swap one effect for something else. That's the only way to make it like reasonable enough, I suppose.
Okay, swap. Yeah, that would make sense. But that seems like a big thing, but something you would also then implement like on other plugins, right?
Yes, I mean,
okay.
I thought about it already. It's my thoughts, but it's not happening overnight. It takes some time to do, and it also has to be, of course, there's always something like, okay, it's possible, but how do you present this to the user in the most simple and easy way? So that's the bulk of the work is most of the time is that.
Mm-hmm. Here's an addition from Signal Hunter to the noise thing. To the noise and pulse being extra affected, being able to split them into 2 different signals.
I mean, still use 2 instances of it.
Yeah, I think that's still the best way, unless you find a way to like, I mean, there's no panning right now, no. So, no. Yeah. I remember like a request for panning at some point. So let me just check how that looks. But that would be another parameter. Another parameter that could be randomized per step.
Yes, of course.
And then we'll be like, chicky.
We can randomize everything. But
oh my God, a pan.
A pan could be a small parameter, perhaps somewhere in the 2 sections. That's something we can probably consider.
Maybe we put the pan on the list just as an idea.
Yes.
Like maybe like a mod, you had on wires. Like that's when you look at the GUI of wires, the very first one, and then you go into the GUI of the latest one. You can see all these mods. Like we have our little shorthand for like making additions that like are office like this little. So it looks a bit hacked. I think that's kind of also cool. Yeah. Possible. I think pan could be a cool idea, especially if you also like randomize it, but. Like, that's could be, but we're getting into very it's getting complicated already. Okay, that's something different. The thumbnail got me curious. Where were you guys drinking? What were you guys drinking in Dublin? I think it was stout, right?
It was a stout. Yes, it was not a Guinness, but it was a stout.
Yeah.
We were in this pub, a very famous pub in Dublin. It's called Johnny Fox's, sorry. And they have their own stout. So we tried the Guinness in a pub, but then we tried their own stout. So I tried to offer Stefan a tour of what's possible here in Dublin.
It was lovely. We didn't we have to say we didn't go for many drinks. We just went for the one. And then we mostly worked. Like it's really hard to stop, actually. It's the 2 workaholics meet. Yes. Okay. So we got to get through it because we still have the drawing of the winner of the Hine Pack. And there's a related question to the Hine Pack. Paul Miller Music. If we get the pack, are future releases included free or how would that work?
No, so what we have right now, so we increase the bundle price every time. I don't remember now the either the price and the percentage of the discount, but we basically, when we add a new product, the bundle price increases, but you also get an offer in the user area to upgrade. So you won't spend the same amount of the intro price or whatever sale it is. So you get a discount. So you just log into your account, you will see a box that says upgrade and get the new products at a discount.
And of course, with the Hine Pack, you get lots of bonus stuff. For Booger, there's an extra bank and new presets. And I made that bank with the Surge Res EQ from my random source Surge. And I got the voltage controlled Res EQ, the monster. And I made some very beautiful little sounds with that. And it's that bank and presets I made for that are exclusive to Hine Pack owners. So there's always a little something extra. And speaking of banks, so tomorrow there will be an update with artist presets, but we're also working already on new banks. So for everyone, just as regular upgrades, those are coming, same as with noises, which have been continuously updating. And there will be new update next year, of course, for noises too, with new banks and stuff, and any bug fixes and additions we find useful.
Yes.
Good. There was one question that from Synthpotamus, where I had question: do you see lexicographical sequencing according to musical mode being a possibility in the future with it? Lexicographical sequencing, that means like using the actual words, like sequencing real words, or I'm not so sure what lexicographical sequencing is. Can you please explain that? That would be cool. Well, Carlo, do you have an idea?
Not at all. Sorry.
Okay.
Sure.
The people, they're smart.
Sounds interesting, though. So I want to know more about this.
Greets from all of us at Radio on Berlin here in Kreuzberg. Loving Booger. Lovely. Thank you. Okay. Any advice? Okay. Frederick Gauthier. Thank you for your response on Blue Sky and posting there, Heinbach. Any advice on a good workflow from sampling to slicing to loading into Booger you can think of on iOS? Well, on iOS you've got the little import manager, so it will import any sample and will play only the first second, right? It's the first second.
More or less, it's sample rate dependent, but let's say 1 second, more or less.
Sample rate dependent 1 second. Of course, you don't get like a fade out or anything, which really helps if you want punchy and snazzy samples, and they should ideally even be shorter. I have to say, I did all the editing of that. I did it in Audacity and in RX, but all on the Mac and not on iOS. And what I use there is AudioShare. And AudioShare for editing should work quite well. That's a good app, but I don't know if there's any other editor right now that would be ideal for it. So, but I would use Audacity at the moment if I were to like trim and edit short parts. It's just an AudioShare helps with bridging that mess that is the iOS file system. Because it can go anywhere. It's like literally meant to go around all the limitations. So that kind of works for that. But I would still
for developers and for users.
Yeah. But in the end, we made the little editor. It's beautiful. I mean, like that really helped. And there was, I think Jamie Liddell helped out with that. Jamie Liddell, like he was like, I don't want like this bank button here. I don't want these kind of things here. So we like slimmed down the UI even further on iOS. So like there was no way you could accidentally like trigger like bank search or stuff like that. So it's more playable when you play it and when you go into data like there. That was one feedback that he gave, because he's always fantastic with feedback on developing plugins. And yeah, thanks to all the beta testers for this and everybody who shared what they liked about it. It's really a great help. So shout out you guys. Oh, Paul Miller music. A wireless pedal would be awesome. Indeed. We should, but making a pedal is hard. Because I mean, like just hardware making is hard.
But that's not the first time we hear about that. No. I think it was one of the most common hardware requests that we had, probably.
So, okay, here we've got one. Oh, and the octave filter is really cool. Things octave filter?
I mean, we are thinking about it.
Put that away. Don't show it to them. Okay, good. Yeah, but that's something that octave filter. I love it personally, and I thought, come on, that would be cool. And it's, yeah. So maybe, very maybe. We're bad. Like usually we're good at like not telling. I mean, we keep complete radio silence, and now it's like already no. But it's like a no-brainer because it's such a cool effect. So yeah, good. That's one thing that the word inclusive. It might not be possible with how Booger is designed, but what do you think about having the two sequences be able to run independently to generate polyrhythms with different word lengths? That's definitely like thought about it, but that takes away so much of the immediacy of everything. So I would just say open another, and then you have two, and you can run them differently, and open as many. I think that's the simplest way, and to get very complex and different sounds. And I think like simply something having like, if you have two of the same and then you just pitch a sample slightly differently, it becomes absolutely mental. There's so many, and especially if you're not, and that's something I implore you to do, if you use the rate instead of the free rate, instead of like having everything clocked, you set it to the same rate, push start on both, and then like watch it, have it like drift more, like just have it slightly off. We're going into Steve Reich territory with that. That's something I didn't even cover in the video because the video was already too long. Like all the beautiful experimental stuff you can do once you go unsynced. Sequencing the order of notes. Okay, that's what that means.
Okay.
But what do you mean? The notes of the pitch shift when you go to the pulses, and then sequencing the speed of the notes, or when you have it in, maybe that. But that's externally available, so you could potentially like automate that.
You can automate the pitch for sure, but I don't know if it means like no.
If you have like each step like have a different pitch. No, I think that's too much. Then becomes like a different sequencer. Maybe. I hope we didn't misunderstand you. But like this is really just, it's a trigger sequencer, and all the other stuff we built upon it is like the same that I do it when I made the original music, like trying to figure out all kinds of workarounds and ways to make it more funky and more musical. So, but if we turn this into full-fledged like chromatic or like microtonal sequencer, we're basically like fighting with the best sequences out there. We're fighting with Ableton, we're fighting with Logic. We're like, we don't need to like.
We wanted to do something more related to the hardware and the technique that you can use with the hardware. More or less.
Okay, so there's more on the lexicographical thing. Notes can be sequenced in arbitrary order. The point being that timing can be decoupled from the moment the sound occurs. I see what you mean. That's something that I do like with sequencing in the modular. And if you like, I'm imagining now a patch. If we had MIDI output to that, so you have like a trigger sequence from Booger, and then you find a way to have that MIDI trigger another instrument, and then you can mix that MIDI with like a MIDI mixer. I don't know if that exists, probably exists. But then you have that stream of MIDI notes, and then you have a secondary stream of like a keyboard, and you play it. That somehow like that. I hope I understand that right, but it's probably, I wouldn't think it's not for Booger at the moment.
Yeah, definitely no the idea about where we are.
Yeah, it's exactly. Okay, here we go. I guess it's more for modular approach, but I do it with MIDI. Yeah. There you can do that. You can. I think there's ways, but you would need one instance like that, and then for the notes another, and then you mix it. Like I think, like basically, I think that's how that I did that a lot with numerology. That sequencer, that big sequencing app. That's also like a beautiful like module, like this big, still fantastic sequencer. But that I think that's more in that, and that also has hardware and has MIDI now. Oh, I think everybody, I think we're going because Carlo, you got to go to your family, right?
Yes.
So we got to do the drawing. So we've got a hat. You put like all the people that guessed right, and now we need to check. So I've got the photo evidence here. So I've got all the pictures of the sweaters that I used, and it's a bit mean because you need to really be there up until the end. So because we're starting with can see maybe okay, we're starting with how you call it, turtleneck. Black turtleneck is the start. Then it goes into my fade, like with the kind of fade. Sorry, it's very like that's the second. So we've got 2. Now that's my kind of funky retro 90s sweater, gift from my wife, like most of these are, honestly. And now we've got sweater number 4, which is this one, very colorful. And then we've got my old, this I have had for a long time now. This is very comfy and very warm, sometimes too warm for shooting. And then we have the fade, the rainbow fade one. And then in the very, very last second, we've got this. It looks black, looks like the turtleneck. No, but it's no turtleneck, and it's very dark blue. So that's 7 all in all. So if you guessed 7, you were correct. And we said we're only going to do a Hine Pack, but we decided to give 1 license away to someone, just 1 Booger license. So there's another. So we've got 1 Booger license, and that's going to be the first draw from the people who guessed right.
There you go.
How many people guessed right?
I think 28 or something.
28. Okay, good.
Let me check if I can check here.
Oh, we're making it more exciting.
27.
27 got it right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not too bad of a chance. Okay.
So I printed and cut 27 of this, which took a while. It took a while, but
Arts and crafts.
It's in here. So
Yeah.
I just randomize a bit, and I pick. So we pick 1 license of Booger, right? Like a
Yes.
contribution prize. So let's see. Void Neo.
Void Neo. Perfect. Void Neo. So the
have-
one thing is we didn't get names. So so we only got the emails. So not in order to dox anyone. Carlo wrote a script to make the cutoff, basically make the first thing in front of the email the name.
Yeah.
So good. We're gonna write Void Neo an email.
with the Booger license.
Perfect.
So,
And so second, now that's the big one. That's for the Hine Pack.
okay, let's see. Andrea Donati. I think it's an Italian.
Ah, congrats to Andreas Donati 99. Full Hine Pack for you. Well, yes. And I think that already concludes our little drawing back info live stream. If you want to check out Booger, the demo is available on the AudioThing site, and it's still on sale, right? It's still on like Black Friday kind of sale.
Yes, so Black Friday will run until the end of the month, but then we will extend the intro price until the end of December.
Ah, okay.
We entered the holiday sale as well, so it makes sense to just extend it for the full month of December. Cool.
Well, thank you, Carlo, for doing all the cutting up. It's good,
Yes.
but at least you got away from the computer screen.
Yes. Yeah, my activity for the day.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming here and hanging out with us. And I think, hopefully very soon we'll have another little plugin for you guys together. It's a lot of fun working together.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you all for watching. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.